Hello, dear students. I welcome you all on behalf of Sri Jendra Rank Zone classes. And dear student, we are in a continuation of the chapter that is Morphology of Flowering Plant. In the few previous lectures, we have completed with the introductory part of morphology and the root. But in today's lecture, we are going to talk about another vegetative part that is stem. When we talk about stem, it is a part of shoot system, and in shoot system also it act as a central main axis because all the other parts of the shoot system are dependent or associated on this central main axis that is known as stem. So stem is the ascending part of the plant axis and it is growing vertically. Sometimes it can be prostate but ascending part of the plant axis, and it bear its branches, leaves are attached to it, flowers and fruit are also present over this particular ascending part of axis. You can see this is the stem, and over stem you can see the different plant parts like the leaves, fruits, flowers, all things are attached. It developed from the plumule. See, we have studied that root arises from the radicle of embryo. But in embryo, the upper tip portion of embryonal axis is known as plumule, and that plumule of the embryo of a germinating seed form a stem. The stem, if we talk about the structure, it bears some dense structure known as node, and the region of a stem which is present between two nodes that is known as internode. So it has a node and internode, and this you can see in this diagram. See, these are some of the condensed dense structure which are known as node, and the stem which is present between two nodes that is known as internode. Over a node you will see the attachment of the leaf. So leaves are attached to the node. Okay, leaves are attached to the node. So what is meant by node? So the region of the stem where leaves are born are called node. The region of the stem where leaves are born are called as node. What is mean by internode? The portion between two nodes are called internode. So the stem bear a bud which may be terminal. Stem also bear a bud which may be terminal or axillary. Stem, when we see, generally it is green due to the presence of chlorophyll when it is young, and when the secondary growth occur and it thicken, then later on it become a woody and look like a dark brown. So this is a young stem, so it is looking like a green, okay, and this is the old stem which is looking like a woody dark brown. So this conversion occur according to the lifespan, time period of lifespan. If we talk about functions of the stem spreads out branches. The branches rise from the stem, and these branches bear leaves, flower, and fruit. One more function, if we talk about a stem, it conduct water, mineral, and photosynthesis. Photosynthesis means food. So it takes a water and mineral from root to the leaf or other plant parts through the xylem, and photosynthesis is or food travel from a leaf to the other plant part or root through the phloem. It is also known that some stem perform other functions like storage of food, support, some stem provide protection, and also play a role in vegetative propagation. So let's talk about some easy question. The ascending part of axis that is known as stem. Stem developed from plumule. The region of stem where leaves are born that is known as node. Stem generally green in color in young stage, but later it become a dark brown and woody. Now, after understanding the stem, and the functions of the stem, a structure of stem, a morphological view of the stem, node and internode. Now, in this part, we are going to talk about the modification of the stem. And when we understand the modification of stem, first we talk about a change or a deviation or a modification of a stem occur in the structure of a stem to perform a new function. And why they need to perform a new function? Because which are the functions are suitable to the surrounding environment. Okay, so there is a need of the stem modification. In flowering plants, specifically angiosperms, three types of stem modification are seen. They are underground stem modification, means how the underground stem show their modification that we are going to study. Then aerial stem also get modified and perform develop different structures or functions. And subaerial weak stem also get modified to perform a different functions. So which all these three we are going to discuss one by one. First we are going to talk about underground stem modification. When we see that stem is underground or below ground and it is getting modified, then it get modified into the different forms. So underground stem are modified plant structures that derive from the stem tissue but exist under the soil surface. The plants which show underground stem modification not only store food material but also act as an organ of pollination. They do not store food for material but to pass the unfavorable, they act as an organ of pollination. Pollination means to pass the unfavorable condition. So they are not only store food material but they also act as organ of pollination or tide over conditions unfavorable growth for growth or pass the conditions. So what is stem modification that we have discussed? The stem modification is a change or deviation occurring in the structure of the stem to perform a new functions which are suitable for the surrounding environment is called stem modification. Now they also help in vegetative propagation and these are divided into four categories. This underground stem modification also help in vegetative propagation and they are divided into four categories and these underground stem modification are stem tuber, rhizome, corm and bulb. These four type of modification are seen in case of the underground stem. Now let's talk about them one by one. First we are going to talk about the stem tuber and if we take an example of it then it is a potato. Actually what happens in this when we see the branch of the stem underground branch of the stem then the tip of that underground branch gets swollen and that swollen end of this branch that is known as a tuber. And the example of this tuber is a potato. See how this occurs. Suppose this is the stem, this is the underground part, this is the branch. This branch and swell up, then it is known as tuber. But this tuber contains some notches like this. These notches are known as node. And in node you will find the axillary bud. That axillary bud germinate. So the node over which the axillary bud are present which germinated from a new plant. This axillary bud or this particular structures are known as eyes of potato that germinated from a new plant. You can see this is the eye of potato. And this eye of potato have a axillary bud. That is the one of the important thing. Okay. So this occur in case of potato. Another modification is of a corm. Now in corm of colocasia, if we see, in corm what happens, the underground stem grow horizontally. Sorry, it grows vertically. So here, corm is an underground stem that grows vertically. It bear node, internode, bud, and scaly leaves, and also play a role in vegetative propagation, then it is known as corm. If we take about some of the example of corm, then one of the important example of corm is Amorphophallus. This Amorphophallus is also known as Zaminkan. Apart from this, another example are Colocasia, Alocasia, Crocus, that is nothing but saffron. In such type of plant, this type of corm or vertical growing stem is seen. Okay. Apart from this, another one is the rhizome, which is found in ginger, that is gingiber. Now, if we talk about rhizome, then the rhizome is seen in ginger and turmeric. But one of the feature of the rhizome is that the rhizome grows horizontally. And one more thing that it bear node, internode, scaly leaves, and bud. That is the rhizome. And if we see the example of rhizome, then it is a ginger, curcuma, it is turmeric. Apart from this, some example are lotus. Sugar can also have this. Okay, ginger, turmeric, canna, that all have particular this rhizome. And this rhizome in ginger, curcuma, or lotus, it is going to be a branched one. An unbranched rhizome is found in case of the Dryopteris, and this unbranched rhizome is known as a rootstock. This is found in case of the pteridophyte, that is a Dryopteris. Okay, you can see here the rhizome of ginger have adventitious root, node, bud, scale, leaf, internode, all are found. Okay. After this, the last modification of underground stem is a bulb, and this bulb is seen in onion. Okay, so if we want to describe this bulb, then we understand that bulb is defined as it is a reduced disc shaped stem, and this bulb or a reduced disc shaped stem is covered by leaves. The leaves can be fleshy or dry. The dry leaves are known as tunic. So because of this, bulb is of two types: tunicated and non-tunicated. If tunicated, then it is covered by the dry covering, that is known as tunic. Now these are further divided into two types: simple tunicated. So in this the example is onion, because only one peppery covering is found over the whole onion, and that is a tunic. But another is the compound tunicated, and the example of compound tunicated is garlic, because in garlic you can see that there are pieces, and each piece is known as bulblet, and each piece has a covering tunic, And when the multiple bulbulates are present in a ring, whole ring is also covered by a tunic. So they have multiple tunics, so it is known as compound tunic. And in non-tunicated, the example is lily, where tunic is absent. So if we see it diagrammatically, then you can see this is the onion. This onion is a whole bulb, is considered as whole bulb. But here actually bulb term is used for this disc shaped structure which is seen here. In this in center you will see the stem, but surroundingly you will find the leaves. These are the adventitious root. If we take a cross section, you can see this is actually a disc shaped bulb over which you will see the apical bud, and that is covered by the leaves. That is a fleshy scale leaves. Okay, so that is a apical bud. Axillary bud are also seen here in the surrounding. Okay, so this is the example of bulb, that is onion. In compound truncated, we can see multiple coverings are seen. So the garlic is example. After this underground stem modification, the next modification which we are going to study, that is aerial stem modification. In this aerial stem modification, if we talk, this stem is aerial, means it is above the ground, and this aerial stem could modify into five categories, and these are stem tendrils, thorns, phylloclade, and cladophylls, and the last one, that is bulbils. Okay, so if we talk about the first stem tendril, then this tendril are the what, they are the just a spirally coiled sensitive structure. So they are slender spirally coiled structure, and they are sensitive, means they coil around the particular type of support. So whatever the type of support they will get, around which they will coil, and they help the particular plant in which they develop, they help that particular plant for the climbing. So either they develop from the axillary bud or apical bud. If they develop from the axillary bud, then axillary bud get modified into spirally coiled structure, and that is a stem tendril. But such type of tendril which are obtained from the axillary bud, that are seen in gods, and you can see in this cucumber that this spirally coiled structure is nothing but a what, a tendril. In pumpkin also such type of tendrils are seen, and in watermelon also this such type of tendrils arising from the axillary bud are seen. So all these three are the example of gods. But the terminal bud or apical bud also can form a tendrils, as in case of grapevines. You can see in these grapevines also some tendrils are seen that are from the terminal bud. Means tendril can arise from both terminal bud as well as apical bud. The another modification is thorn. Here, what happens? The axillary bud get modified and it become a woody, straight and pointed structure. See, bud on the stem, that is axillary bud actually, get modified into woody, straight and pointed structure. Then it is known as thorns. Actually, thorns are known for protection to the plant from the grazing animals. This is the thorn which is found in the bougainvillea, you can see, and this particular type of thorns are also seen in some of the citrus plant. You can see these are the thorns of bougainvillea, and these are the thorns of the citrus. But this all arise from the axillary bud, and they are somewhat woody, so they are known as thorns. And the examples are bougainvillea and citrus. Then another modification of the aerial stem is phylloclade. In this, plants of arid region modified their stem into fleshy flattened or fleshy cylindrical or needle-like photosynthetic structure. Means here stem is getting modified into flattened structure or cylindrical structure usually, and performing a photosynthetic function. Then it is known as phylloclade. So why? Because this flattened stem or cylindrical stem contain chlorophyll and that carry out photosynthesis. So what happens to their leaves? Their leaves are modified into spines or scale leaves to reduce the transpiration. And leaves are not flattened or developed. Because of this, there is a need of stem to get flattened and perform a photosynthesis. So you can see this is the example is the opuntia. In opuntia, you will see there is a flattened phylocrate, flattened fleshy stem. You can see this whole is the flattened fleshy stem. This is a phylocrate. But over which you can see this dot like structure. This dot represent what? A spines. So such a way the stem get flattened and perform photosynthesis in crop, which is known as phylocrate. In euphorbia also you will see fleshy cylindrical phyloclade. See this is cylindrical phyloclade is seen in euphorbia that also perform photosynthesis. So this is the phyloclade. So what are ultimately phyloclade? Plants of arid region modified into stems into fleshy, flattened or fleshy cylindrical photosynthetic structure that is known as phyloclade. After this, another modification is a cladophylls. In cladophylls, in some plant, branches show limited growth to perform a photosynthesis as their leaves are modified into spines or scales to reduce the transpiration. See, in the phyloclade which we have studied just now, that in that multiple internode stem get flattened or cylindrical, but here only few internode stem can get modified. So it is of limited growth, it is small. So this leaf-like flattened branch that resemble and function as a leaf is called a cladode. So you can see here you will mark this as a leaf, but these are the not leaf. They are nothing but a what a cladode because your branch get modified. This cladode is the branch getting flattened and it is of one or two internode length, whereas in phyloclade it is of many internode length. Here in cladode usually one. And if you see the example, the asparagus and dahlia show this particular type of asparagus, sorry, not dahlia, asparagus and ruscus show this type of cladophyllus. Another modification of aerial stem is bulbil. So in some plant, the vegetative bud or floral bud store food material. Then it is known as bulbil. So means they are the large-sized fleshy bud of terrestrial habitat. Simply they are defined as large-sized fleshy bud of terrestrial habitat. And when they are large size, they detach from the parent plant. And then when they reach to the soil, they develop adventitious root and form a new plant, means they help in vegetative propagation. So this structure are known as bulbil. And if we talk about bulbil, these bulbil are seen in case of Dioscorea, where vegetative mud get modified into the bulbil. You can see these are the bulbils. Same way in agave, floral bud get modified into bulbil. And in Dioscorea also bulbil are seen like this at the base of the leaf. Okay. Apart from this, one such modification is found that is known as turions. Turions is a large-sized fleshy bird of aquatic habitat, and that also play a role in vegetative propagation. If you talk about the example, then it is Utricularia and Potamogeton. So now after this discussion of this all aerial stem modification, now we are going to talk about a sub-aerial weak stem modification. So now let's talk about the sub-aerial stem. Means it is a weak stem and how that get modified. So if it is a weak stem, it is not going to stand erect. Some lateral branches will be there, or they can go grow laterally. So if we divide it into four categories: runner, stolon, offset, and sucker. All sub-aerial stem modification are also useful for vegetative propagation as well. If we talk about runner, the underground stem in some grasses and strawberry, and sub-aerial stem in oxalis spread to a new niche and form a new plant when older parts die. Such, such parts are called runners. They produce branches in all directions and spread to a new niches. So what happens here if we talk, suppose this is the lateral branch. It has a node here, again it has a node here, it has a node here, and on node it is forming a leaf structures. And this leaf structure is known as crown. So at each node this crown will be found, and from this it will grow and spread to the particular new area. When these older parts will be dying here, this will act as a new plant. Such way they fastly grow in the particular area. For runner, if we take example, that is the grasses, you know that. If we talk about the grasses, when we walk on the grasses, then the leaves come in our interaction with our foot. But below that, you will see the whole network of stem, which is growing fastly, running fastly, so it is known as runner. Now you can see here in this diagram that this is a runner. Okay. And at each node you are seeing a particular plant and its particular root are seen. So runner growing from axillary bud in axil of scale, and new plants growing from the axillary bud are found at each node. So this is a runner of grass, you can see, and there is a runner of oxalis. The another one is stolon. Stolon are the slender lateral branches arising from the base of the main axis after growing aerially for some time. They arc downward to touch the ground and produce adventitious growth. And the example are nerium and jasmine. If we want to draw a diagram of a stolon of jasmine, then you can see in this one. This is a lateral branch which is growing upward, then obliquely downward, and then it is here. Now here it has a node and it is a bud, so it will give a new particular what a plant. So this internode is named as a stolon. So when internode growing upward, then downward, and forming a new plant from this lateral branch, then this lateral branch is known as stolon. After this, another modification is in some area is offset. So in some aquatic plant like Pistia in Icornia, lateral branch of one internode length is called offset is found. Means offset has a short internode. At each node, they bear a rosette of leaves, means a group of leaves at each node. And a tuft of balancing root means group of root arising from the base of the discoid stem. So you can see this is found in case of Icornia, which is also known as water hyacinth or terror of Bengal. In Icornia, you can see here, this is the group of leaves and this is the group of root, and the in between they have an internode that is known as offset, which is of short internode is found in case of this offset. If we cut this will act as an independent plant, and this will act as an independent plant, means it is acting as in a vegetative propagation. You can see this is in Pistia, this is the offset. And then the next modification is sucker. In this, lateral branch that originate from the underground portion of the main stem, which grow horizontally beneath the soil, and at last it come out obliquely upward, giving rise to the leafy shoot. These branches are called a sucker. These are useful for vegetative propagation as well. You can see in this is the sucker of banana, the sucker of pineapple, and this is actually sucker showing the sucker of kaiser. Here you can see this is the underground stem where axillary bud from here develop a little branch which grow horizontally and then come outward and develop a leafy shoot. So this is known as sucker. It is found in chrysanthemum as well. Okay, So these are the particular aerial, weak stem, and all modification of stem we have discussed. Now let's talk about some of the questions. How many stem modification are seen in angiosperm? We know that there are three modification. One is underground stem, another one is a aerial stem, and another one is a subaerial stem modification. Are seen. Which of the following is underground stem modification? Dear students, you know that rhizome is underground stem modification, which is found in case of the ginger, whereas thorn, phylloclade, and bulbil are aerial modification. Stem tendrils are, they are the woody, they are not woody, they are slender, spirally coiled. Yes, they are slender and spirally coiled structure and it is sensitive, grow according to the support. Which stem modification contain chlorophyll and carries out photosynthesis? Dear students, we know that phylloclade contain chlorophyll and perform photosynthesis. Which of the following is a subaerial stem modification? Bulbil, phylloclade, stem tendril are aerial stem modification. Sucker is a subaerial stem modification. Identify the plant which grow show a stem tuber. Yes, we have studied that it is underground stem modification and it is found in case of the potato. Which plants form a new plant when older parts die? This occur in case of runner. The new running or growing part will develop and the older will die. Okay, so this is what a particularly uh, thing about the what stem and their all modification. Okay, and out of this all modification, underground stem of potato, ginger, turmeric, colocasia, Jamaican, all are acting as an organ of marination because they help to survive in unfavorable condition. Okay, so we have completed all the modification of stem. Now, after discussion of stem, in next class we will be discussing about the another vegetative structure that is leaf. Till that, thank you.